It's getting hard to do this stuff, folks. It is starting to become a challenge just to cover some of these stories. I like to keep my ear to the ground in regards to what's going on in ride sharing, whether you're driving for Uber or Lyft. We want decent pay, but our safety is also paramount. A lot of drivers go out to take trips, and that is the last time they leave home. This story is disturbing. There is no other way to state it. It's not any type of graphic video or images, but the details of the story is incredibly bad. It is incredibly bad. So much so it's one of the worst cases of sexual assault I've heard, and I've covered dozens of them. Nevertheless, I'll go ahead and let the news story state the disturbing details of this, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Del City police say that once that Lyft driver was almost to the final drop-off location, the suspect grabbed her, threatened her, and brought her here to this park. That's when he sexually assaulted her multiple times.
He basically placed his arm around her neck and began threatening her life and was forcing her to drive to different places.
A 54-year-old woman driving for the popular rideshare app Lyft attacked by the man she picked up. Court documents say that man forced her to drive to this park in Del City.
Sexually assaulted her multiple times and then forced her back in the vehicle and drove her to an area we believe to be close to Northeast 8th and Miramar in Oklahoma City, where he left her there, took her phone in her vehicle, and then left the scene.
That's when he left her alone and stole her car. Police say someone driving by took the woman to a hospital. Her family tracked down her cell phone 40 miles away in Langston.
The officer there actually made contact with the suspect as he was exiting her vehicle and had her phone in his possession. And so he was taken into custody.
Now police say the suspect's no stranger to where he sits now, the Oklahoma County Jail.
He has had multiple weapon violations, and I believe as recently as February had entered a blind plea on 2 charges that we believe would possibly have sent him back to prison. It was very disturbing in the interview, essentially, because this suspect showed no remorse. His demeanor was essentially he knew he was going back to prison, so he didn't really care.
Police say he faces a slew of charges, like first-degree rape, multiple counts of forcible sodomy, robbery, and kidnapping. Now they're looking into if other people, including whose Lyft profile was used to buy the ride, had any role.
We have collected all the phones as evidence, and that's a process in dumping those phones and getting that information, but we hope to have a more clear picture of who that person is and whether there was any involvement there.
Now, KOCO won't be naming that suspect as they've not been formally charged. We did reach out to Lyft, and they said they've been in contact with that driver, and they've permanently banned the rider from their platform. Reporting live in Del City, Elise Jones, KOCO 5 News.
Wow, there is a lot to unpack here. First of all, you hear Lyft give the same bullshit statement we often hear after someone has been victimized incredibly bad, and that is they've deactivated the account. In this case, it appears as though the person who actually owned the account, who booked the trip, is not even the damn suspect involved in the case. So you hear Lyft is, or better yet, the authorities is trying to find out if the person that booked the trip is somehow connected to the actual victimization of this driver and the actual suspect. Here's why it's bullshit what Lyft done. You're deactivating the account of someone that didn't even take the trip. Talk about useless. The person who booked the trip, yeah, their account should be deactivated, but they're not even a fucking criminal. What Lyft is doing provides no assistance to this victim at all. And in most cases, it doesn't provide assistance to any of the other victims as well. That's just some type of piece of shit speech that Uber and Lyft give every time a driver is victimized, killed, murdered, raped, you name it. It's useless. This person is going to prison for a lengthy period of time. Who gives a damn if he can no longer use Uber or Lyft's, in this case, Lyft's platform? He's not going to be requesting rides anymore anyway. He's on his way to prison. So that provides no type of solace or comfort to anybody at all. But this story is horrific. You hear the authorities or the police in the video state that she was assaulted multiple times. Now, first, just in regards to somebody else booking a trip for this damn rapist or whatever you want to call it, rapist. He really, really victimized her. You need to pay attention, folks. When you're engaging in rideshare, whether driving for Uber or Lyft, as we always say, pay attention to who's getting in your vehicle. Just because a trip was booked doesn't mean it was booked by the person who owns the account or that your ass is safe. So understand, we talked about this in the last video before this one, where an elderly man got really beat up badly, and the person who victimized that 70-year-old man is still on the lam as well. They don't know where the hell he's at. So really turn around, take a good look at who's getting in your vehicle. Make sure they have the name. In fact, what Uber and Lyft should do is either sign some type of waiver or something, or, have a PIN code or something of that nature. If you're going to book a trip for somebody else and it is your account, you're responsible if some shit goes down, and you should have to enter a PIN number or something like that as a verification that you're putting someone else in the car that is not you, and you can be held responsible for it. That should be one way how this goes. That way, if someone else steals another person's phone looking to victimize drivers, and that happens all the damn time. We've had carjacking crews in Chicago steal a phone of a driver or a passenger or whatever the case may be, book trips with the stolen phone, and then rob the person coming to them. If you had a PIN number effect, anytime a driver shows up, or better yet, you book a trip and the driver shows up and you're not the person on there, they would know this hasn't been verified. If your name is not on here and the system doesn't tell us to expect you, we can't let you in the damn car. It would be that simple to make these owner of the accounts, the folks who own the damn accounts, to make them accountable for the shit they're putting in our car. So in this case, you better believe the person that victimized this female driver is going to say, the owner of that account is going to deny they had anything to do with this damn rapist. But you hear what actually happened to this person. This piece of shit, this garbage individual sodomized this driver. But not only did this person take the driver's innocence, according to the authorities, it happened multiple times. So he was forcing this driver to literally drive him around, sounds like, according to the story, make stops and victimize this person even more, up to and including sodomy. Now, at the end, leaves this individual most likely crying, distraught, hoping that they even survived the incident, likely in pain due to some of the acts performed on them, takes the vehicle, takes their phone, and leaves them there stranded. This is a genuine piece of garbage. Fortunately, in this story, the assailant has been caught. But we talk about being tough and soft on crime. It sounds like this individual should have already been incarcerated, was already out on multiple felonies, had court cases coming up, should have already been locked up. And now this driver has went through some shit they'll remember for the rest of their damn lives. The assailant has been charged with rape, forcible sodomy, robbery, and kidnapping. Wow. This is real, folks. I've covered a lot of drivers getting sexually assaulted. Folks do lose their lives, but these sex crimes do happen as well. This is really bad, though. This is one of the more graphic ones that I've covered, where the driver actually lived to have to deal with the anguish and just literally the mental issues that's going to come along with this happening. You can almost feel confident that this driver is no longer going to engage in rideshare. They're not going to drive for Lyft. They're not going to drive for Uber. And she may not even want to be alone for quite a while after this. I mean, this is really, really bad. But just to wrap the story up, I do believe in having, suggesting you keep defensive tools on you. In this case, it's, they said that the assailant grabbed her around the neck, put her in a chokehold, which easily happens in rideshare because people are sitting behind you. A lot of our stories start that way. Told a girl he was going to kill her, and that's when all of this took off. Now, defensive tools possibly could have done something, but as bad as this person victimized her, unless she was really prepared to really take him out, he probably would have murdered her. I mean, the time he's facing for what he did to her probably is not much worse than a murder charge. And you hear the law enforcement say that this guy didn't even have remorse. I mean, he's so institutionalized in regards to being in the system, didn't even really show any remorse for it. What's really bad, the police pulled up on him while he was getting out of her car with her phone in his possession. So this is about as clear as we caught your red-handed case as you pull up in her shit. I mean, so yeah, he is guilty as fuck, but damn what this driver had to go through. Hopefully none of you folks have had passengers try to come on to you sexually to the point where it got into the realm of aggression. But in this case also, before I wrap the video up, it does sound like this driver could have possibly been adding stops, because you hear the beginning of the news story say when she almost got him to the final destination, like there were more than one stop. So be cautious of folks adding stops to trips while you're currently driving them to their regular location. Now, this case ended really bad, but some people just want you to go places you normally wouldn't go where you're not in, there's no harm to you. But let's say, for instance, you don't take long distance trips. Uber and Lyft don't pay shit. I don't advise anybody taking trips more than 20 miles. Maybe they want to go to a town 40 miles away and they know no driver is ever going to take a trip booked that way. So they put in a 5-mile trip. You come pick them up. And while you're taking them to the destination that's only 5 miles away, they go on the damn app and change the destination. How many of you had that happen? Passenger make a change to the destination without saying shit to you at all. They're back there looking down at their phone, changing the destination, didn't ask you for permission or any damn thing. You look at your device and now all of a sudden you went from being 3 minutes away to 50 minutes away. Have you ever had that happen? It sounds like in this case, though, he may have changed the destination on her. In addition to not wanting to go to trips, distant trips, a long way away because they're not profitable, also pay attention to where you're dropping people off in terms of how rural the area may be. Because you might be involved in a setup and not know it. If you know an industrial area is closed, no business is open, nothing is open in that area, and you happen to notice the destination to your trip is that way, think about that. Be cautious of that shit. Why would someone want to go to a riverbank at 9 p.m.? If you get a trip taking you to some shit like that, be cautious of that. Pay attention to the destination of where your trips are going. Because they may not be going to the river to fish, your ass may end up in it. Pay attention to what you're doing out here, folks. Stay safe. As always, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button. See you in the next video.